Tonight on News 5 Live, an elderly woman tragically loses her life in an overnight fire in Dangriga, leaving her family homeless. Shine Barrow's UDP holds a press conference delivering sharp criticism of the Briceño administration, while the opposition leader dodges questions about internal party conflicts. Plus, 29 small business owners receive grants through the BEEP program. These stories and more are coming up after a word from our sponsors.
Cooking just got easier with Kent Oils, your go-to choice for every dish. Available in 3 sizes and 3 great options: vegetable, corn, or canola oil. Perfect for frying, baking, sauteing, or grilling. Kent Oils deliver the quality you trust with a clean, natural flavor for all your cooking needs. Conveniently available at stores near you. Exclusively distributed by Unitex Company Limited.
welcome to News 5 Live for Tuesday, January 28th. I am Sabrina Daly. Tonight, a family in Dangriga is grappling with the aftermath of a devastating house fire that tragically claimed the life of their beloved Sonia Sambula. Just before midnight on Monday, flames engulfed a home in the Bengushe area of Dangriga, where Sonia and her two adult grandsons were sleeping. Awakened by the smoke, they tried to escape, but heartbreakingly, Sonia couldn't make it out in time. Witnesses say the fire was too fierce for anyone to help her, and she perished inside. News 5's Brittany Gordon has more on this unfortunate incident.
Since the early hours of the morning, these siblings have been tirelessly clearing away the charred remains of their family home, which caught on fire earlier today. It's a grueling task, not just because of the physical labor involved, but also the emotional toll of knowing that just hours ago, their beloved sister, Sonia Sambula, lost her life in the blaze.
When I got a call early this morning, I was informed that my sister was perished in a fire. I think it started about after 12, before day. And it's so unfortunate that, that had happened to my sister because she was a loving, outgoing person.
Did your sister live here by herself?
No, she lived here with her grandkids and one of her daughters.
And, any of them, did they get any injuries from the fire?
None of them received any injury. My sister was the only one that got killed in the fire.
Sonia lived in an elevated single-story home with her daughter, Marcia, and her two grandsons. Last night, it was just Sonia and her two grandsons at home when the strong smell of smoke jolted them awake. One of her grandsons shared the heart-wrenching story of how he battled between fear and frustration, desperately trying to save himself and his grandmother.
So when I'm asleep, I'm in the rest up. And then I start see flames start erupt like around 11:30. So then I rush downstairs and I check what's going on. And when I check, that flame. So I run downstairs and I check. And I run upstairs but I figure I try to save my granny. But then I can't cause smoke done then my lungs already. I cough up for me look for gone too, so I just spin around back and run outside. I jump for way top of the veranda, about 10 foot.
So you were saying that at that moment you couldn't breathe, the smoke was so thick?
Yes, thick bad, like fire hot.
Neighbors recall the chilling sound of Sonia's cries for help echoing through the neighborhood, spurring many to rush over with buckets of water and calls to the authorities. Dreadfully, the fire had already become too intense for anyone to enter, and despite their best efforts, Sonia was overcome by the flames.
Nobody can help because it done too late.
It was already engulfed in flames.
Flames, and two tank made in there.
The cause of the fire remains a mystery, but the family has come together seeking support and answers. Sonia's eldest son, Denmark Sambula, who lives in Belize City, rushed down to Dangriga as soon as he could.
I had to sleep, my phone ring about 12:30, 1:45. So about when I answer my call, my uncle right over there, so he asked me if I hear what they want. I want to know. No, I don't know what they want. Tell me what they want. He said, your man house there on fire, your mother inside, trapped inside, I can't come out. So I like, what? I jump up on my wife right there, so she hear the conversation, because I had it on speaker and thing, and she jump up and bawl.
Sambula explains that a wave of helplessness immediately overtook him upon hearing the news.
Man, I wish I could have fly from Belize City to Dangriga at the moment, mommy. I wish one miracle could have happened, but man, the Father God knows best, I can't question his doings and thing,
Sonia is fondly remembered as a joyful woman with a deep religious faith. Neighbors often recall hearing her sing gospel music at the top of her lungs, her voice filling the air and reaching their homes.
Man, she was a loving mother. She every day she go to church. She never got time to stay home. I was like, Ma, just come from church? He said, well, I'm going again because we have a late prayer meeting in the evening. I tell her, Ma, relax, ma, go tomorrow morning. She always find time for church. Every day she got time to go to church. Yeah, and she loved all, and we love her grandchildren.
On top of losing their beloved Sonia, Marsha and her sons have lost all their personal belongings and now face the daunting task of rebuilding their lives from scratch. The Sambula family is reaching out to the public for any donations to help ease this process. Denmark, Sonia's eldest son, is stepping up to support his sister and can be contacted at 606-4530 for donations.
Family from Dangriga, from Belmopan, from Billy City, everybody come unite up and thing and try all we get over this grief together and thing, you know.
She was, wow, somebody who loves to help. It wouldn't take $1 for her to help someone. Once you're in need, she would help you.
Brittany Gordon for News 5.
Tonight, a 22-year-old man is behind bars at the Belize Central Prison after being arraigned for the weekend murder of well-known street figure Mark Waite. The accused is Peter Lara, a resident of Jane Usher Boulevard in Belize City. Allegedly on Saturday, 24-year-old Waite, who had previously been acquitted of the murder of news reporter Kareem Clark, was socializing in front of his girlfriend's house on Central American Boulevard. A dispute broke out with another man who then pulled out a gun and shot Waite multiple times. Lara is accused of being the perpetrator of this violent attack. This morning, Lara appeared unrepresented at the Belize City Magistrates Court, where he was charged with 1 count of murder, 1 count of attempted murder of 33-year-old Francine Herbert, who was critically injured in the incident, 1 count of dangerous harm, and 1 count of use of deadly means of harm. Due to the severity of the charges, no plea was taken, and Lara was denied bail. He has been remanded to the Belize Central Prison until April 28, 2025. Meanwhile, Herbert remains in the ICU fighting for her life. Coming up, UDP accuses police top brass of underreporting murders.
Today we're here shopping at B-Mart. Today we're making the green super smoothie. Let's master it.
Energy powers our lives, and now we're powering a sustainable future together. This January 27th and February 3rd at 7:30 p.m., tune into the Energy Exchange Show, your guide to understanding Belize's journey towards sustainable energy. From solar power to electric mobility, learn how we're creating real solutions for everyday Belizeans. With topics like e-mobility and licensing regime, this show is designed to answer your questions about Belize's energy transition. Join us to see how we can all play a role in building a brighter, cleaner Belize.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is what you've been waiting for. In this corner, we have the masters of limitless power and unbeatable connection. Pioneers of 4G LTE in Belize. It's the undefeated champion, Smart. And in the other corner, struggling to keep up, it's the other guy. Fight! getting blow after blow from a plan with the other guys? It's time to tap out and join the winning postpaid plan provider. Smart's postpaid plans are a total knockout to the competition, and they have once again powered up their postpaid plans. Sign up for one of Smart's boosted postpaid power plans today and experience the victory of superior service. Smart, bringing people together.
The Social Security Board, in collaboration with the Labor Department, takes this opportunity to remind insured persons of the requirements for compensation when on sick leave. Any employee who has worked with an employer for at least 2 months is entitled to 16 working days of sick leave with full pay every year. This is how it works. Upon approval of a sickness or injury benefit claim by SSD, 80% of the employee's weekly insurable earnings is paid as a Social Security benefit, and the difference in the employee's salary is paid by the employer. This is to ensure that the employee does not suffer any loss of wages when ill. After 16 days, compensation for sick leave is paid as a Social Security benefit only. Some conditions apply. This message is brought to you by the Social Security Board and the Labor Department. Social Security Board, safeguarding you, your family, your future.
This morning, the United Democratic Party held a lengthy press conference at their headquarters, tackling a range of national issues. The head table featured 5 key members from the UDP's shadow cabinet, ready to share their thoughts. Over the course of 2 hours, they covered everything from the People's United Party's economic policies to crime, violence, education, health, and transport. This event was a stark contrast to the fighting and division we've seen within the UDP over the past 12 months. But the big question remains, can they convince voters that they're ready to lead the country? Opposition leader Moses Shine-Barrow kicked things off, taking aim at the Briceño administration's approach to social welfare programs. His remarks set the tone for a session full of pointed critiques and passionate discussions.
The hunger pains are not being satisfied. The middle class is being eroded, pushed to the brink of poverty, while those already impoverished are now in the abyss of the callous PUP government, whose heartless policies have erased all social safety nets meant to serve as the guardrails for the vulnerable. What used to be social welfare is now used for political warfare. Gone is Boost. Gone is the food subsidy program, where all Belizeans in need used to be able to spend $10 to get a $50 grocery bag. Now, under the Briceño doctrine, you spend $50 to get a $10 worth of groceries. But the only optimistic thing about the new year is that we as Belizeans can implement Operation Rescue Belize, implement Operation Save Belize from the heartless PUP government in these general elections that are coming.
Barrow promises that if the UDP wins the election, he will immediately reinstate all the social programs from the previous UDP administration. He didn't hold back, calling the Brusenu administration the worst PUP government ever, a sentiment he believes is shared by the entire nation.
We will stay focused on policies that will make the lives of the Belizean people better. That is what is at stake in these general elections. If you want your life to continue to deteriorate, your quality of life, if you want things to continue to get worse, because we all agree, all across the length and breadth of this country, that over the last 5 years, things have gotten worse. Some argue the worst it has ever been. But the next UDP, Barrow government, will on day one reinstate all of the social welfare programs that helped so many Belizeans during our 13 years. And we will not only reinstate, but we will expand those programs, which is what the People's United Party promised to do. This PUP government, by all objective, sober perspectives, is the worst ever, at least one of the worst ever. Everywhere you go, that is what you're hearing, from Chunush to Barranco to Bullet Tree to Crooked Tree. Everywhere you go, all you hear people doing is complaining, wishing for the days of the UDP Barrow government, where we put people first, where we had a true mixed economy.
UDP chairman and former Minister of National Security, Mike Purifit, didn't hold back in his remarks on the state of public safety. He delivered strong blows to Commissioner of Police Chester Williams and Minister of Home Affairs Kareem Musa, once again demanding their resignation. Purifit accused them of underreporting murder statistics and giving the public a false sense of security.
Let me address the issue of underreporting within the police department. The most alarming and heartbreaking example of this is the underreporting of murder statistics. The police department recently released a report citing 89 murders for 2024. Yet when we examine the actual data and the records that we have access to and been given access to, our research shows that there were actually 97 murders, not including 10 additional deaths that clearly bear all the hallmarks of murder, but which were prematurely and suspiciously classified as mere death investigations. A per capita of 24 plus murders per 100,000 is not an insignificant increase from 2023 when it was 21 per 100,000. This discrepancy is not just a minor clerical error, it is a serious issue. The very trust that we as a community place in our law enforcement agencies is being undermined. These manipulated figures do not only serve to obscure the reality of violence in our streets, but they also deprive the public of the knowledge necessary to demand real action.
On the education front, Nelma Mortis, the UDP standard bearer for Port Loyola, highlighted the pressing issue of teachers' welfare. Mortis emphasized that the opposition stands firmly with the nation's teachers and is committed to improving their conditions once elected.
Our teachers are leaving the profession due to a combination of factors, including overwhelming workload, lack of support from administration and management, increasing student behavior issues, and that's an effect of our social ills, high level of stress, excessive licensing requirements, poor working condition, and a feeling of not being valued by the community or parents, which leads to burnout and a desire to pursue different career goals. Many of them are even now moving towards call center work to save their lives. They are on life support. Another area that is defunct in the Ministry of Education is that of addressing the related issues of salary, increments, and allowances in an efficient manner. A blue bone was thrown to us, and I refer to it as a blue bone because according to the PUP, we don't deserve meat. We were promised in December that teachers, December 2024, they would correct the matter of the increments and the outstanding salaries and allowances for teachers. And that's a matter of the PUP showing us how good they are at engineering and electioneering. To date, 650 teachers have not received their 2-year increment salary adjustment. While some of these occurrences are beyond the control of GOB, there are something that could have been done to soften the rough times. This United Democratic Party is standing in solidarity with the Belize National Teachers Union as they agree to have a protest rally on February 7, 2025.
The United Democratic Party's shadow Minister of Health is Carlos Pereira, a name that might ring a bell. He previously served as the Director of Finance at the Carl Huchner Memorial Hospital. Although his departure from the hospital over a decade ago was under less than ideal circumstances, he was never found guilty of any wrongdoing. Now he's back, championing the UDP's cause in the health sector.
What is their report card? Let us talk about the report card of the People's United Party since they got into power. It's very lengthy. I won't bore you. But the first hit they got was in February of 2021, February 4th, where several organizations clamored for better health care down south in PG and Dangriga. Why? The Placenza Polyclinic was abandoned. In August 2022, nurses walked out of the Northern Region Hospital and the Corozal Community Hospital. In October 2022, the Southern Region voiced the concerns to the Ministry of Health on medical supplies. October 2023, a continuous neglect of allegations by patients in our regional hospitals. On April 2024, a neglect of allegations by patients at the Northern Region Hospital, the backyard of the Prime Minister and the backyard of the Minister of Health. Imagine that. You are the Minister of Health, you're the Prime Minister of this country, and you have patients complaining in allegations of neglect in the Northern Region Hospital. That should be a shame. The continuous chaos, as we heard in 2024, where there was shortage of equipment and medicines at the National Hospital, KHMH. We heard the CEO of KHMH talk about being blindsided by the workers' union out of grievances. Guess she was lost.
We will have more from the press conference later on in our newscast. After the break, Caribbean Tire loan from SSB went through full process. But first, here's the latest weather update from the Belize Met Service.
Real UDP? Is it Shine Barrow's UDP or Tracy Panton's UDP? Nobody knows, not even Omar Figueroa. First he was with Shine, then he was with Tracy. Now he's back with Shine. One big joke. Omar Figueroa was a UDP ghost in Cayo North. He did nothing when he was in power. And for sure, he can't be trusted. If he can't even be loyal to one UDP leader, he will never be loyal to the people of Cayo North. Don't even waste your vote. Reject the UDP ghost. Omar Figueroa and the UDP are done. Digi is bringing the power of connectivity to every corner of Belize with our Digi on-the-go mobile store.
Ma, Digi dia.
Digi dia. Don't say. Sign up for the fastest, most reliable home fiber service, purchase the latest device, or explore our wide range of services. This one-of-a-kind mobile store has it all. Our dedicated team brings the same high-quality in-store experience to you, ensuring you stay connected with friends, family, and the world.
You guys bringing the mobile here, it's really helpful, saving a lot of money for people going from the town, especially like in Punta Gorda, which is 25 miles away from here, which will cost a couple dollars for them to reach there. So having these caravan here, it's a lot easier, it's a lot cheaper, and you know, people are taking advantage. As you can see, we have a lot of people coming out today to purchase some of these devices, top-ups and even postpaid that they're eager to have, no?
Digi is connecting Belize one community at a time. Look out for the Digi on-the-go mobile store with exclusive deals and offers in a community near you. Follow us on our Digi Facebook page to see where we will be next.
Digi, our national telecom.
The streetlight implementation plan is to replace the high-pressured sodium lights, better known as HPS lights. These HPS lights will be replaced by the LED lights. Therefore, LED street lights advanced optics can fine-tune the distribution of lights, ensuring better coverage of the roads, roundabouts, parks, businesses, public area, homes, etc. The feedback have been great. We get positive feedback from the community when it comes to the improved brightness and light quality which LED provides by means of visibility and safety, especially at night.
Before the LED lights was installed, it was kind of dark, you know. Most of the time you just have to look and check. But with the LED lights now, you can see from far.
I like it because it's a nice bright light, because the customer feel much safer to come to the shop.
From the LED lights now that BL had put, it improved a lot. Well, the difference is that they look way far clearer.
Well, I must say thanks again to BL on this one, because actually our nice improvement also. It bring up the mahogany, because the mahogany is one of the active streets in Belize City, and also I live back at Gongolong, and when I come off work, it's just a bloom. Nice for me now. When I come home at night, I can see clearly.
The main objective this year is basically to change out 16,000 HPS lights. So the street light replacement will occur at every respective zone. For example, Central, Belize District, North, Orinjoa, Corozal, West, Cayo District, South, Tancreek District, and Toledo District. We have started some years back with the street light replacement project, and the 16,000 will account for the 100% that we need to complete on the distribution system.
Bringing you a brighter tomorrow.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is what you've been waiting for. In this corner, we have the masters of limitless power and unbeatable connections. Pioneers of 4G LTE in Belize. It's the undefeated champion, Smart. And in the other corner, struggling to keep up, it's the other guy. Fight! Tired of getting blow after blow from a plan with the other guys? It's time to tap out and join the winning postpaid plan provider. Smart's postpaid plans are a
In this week's edition of Culture Tuesday, we're revisiting a heartwarming project by a couple dedicated to preserving Creole culture and language. Dion and Andrea Rodriguez are the creative minds behind Crutriments, a charming Belizean business they started to make a living while offering unique keepsakes and personal accessories. Their products feature Creole proverbs as themes, an idea that has really caught on. News 5's Isani Catano has the story.
I want to know who said Creole no gonna culture.
Preserving shared beliefs and values are essential for maintaining cohesion in a society, as it fosters a sense of identity and belonging among communities. Without cultural preservation, diversity and heritage can be lost, resulting in the homogenization of societies, as well as the disappearance of unique traditions and practices. Enter Coutrements, a standalone brand that aims to carry on Creole culture through the use of popular expressions.
I kind of stumbled into Coutrements, because one day I realized, my husband brought home a calendar. And I was like, why we not have a calendar that, captures our culture and fun and, educational at the same time. So that is how I kind of stumbled into this. I started with a simple little black and white calendar with the words, everything is in Creole. The Belize standardized Creole spelling, that's what I chose to use.
Cultural practices are passed on from generation to generation in various ways, including oral tradition.
Preservation of the culture is part of our identity as Belizeans. And so I think the more we embrace it, the more people will want to travel to experience it because it's different. Even though we have had similar history with other Caribbean countries, there are different cultural experiences here in Belize that others can learn from.
By using colloquialisms as catchphrases on various accessories, Andrea Rodriguez and her husband founded Coutrements, a creolized take on the word accoutrements.
Coutrements means odds and ends, personal accessories, and I wanted a name that would capture everything that I would want to do. I didn't want to kind of box it to just the calendar. So that is how I kind of came up with the name Coutrements.
It's interesting that you would say that there is a standardized way of writing Creole because one of the famous Creole expressions is the rangai rangai kareka kareka.
Yeah, well, I think there were a lot of people who put a lot of effort into creating a standardized way so that we could all be on the same page. It's not to dictate how you should spell or speak Creole. And so I decided that because I wanted to also pay tribute to all those people like Sylvana Odds and Miss Yvette Herrera, even Dr. Colville Young, our former Governor General, they all worked really hard to come up with a way that we could all have a set standard. And so I decided that that is what I'm going to do, and I'm loving it. I had to teach myself how to write it, how to spell, and I'm still learning.
Married for the past 20 years, this couple, despite Andrea being of Creole descent and Dion being Garifuna, is firmly rooted in Belizean tradition. They had an idea that was instantly marketable, but the Rodriguezes were initially reluctant to go all the way in, despite the investment that they had already made.
After getting the first 200, because there was some hesitation in investing so much money and then not knowing if people will buy it. The first 200 were sold in 2 weeks, less than a month. And so we had to order more and then order more. And so the experience has been amazing. And through that, other products were birthed as well.
Getting into business together has drawn the Rodriguezes closer to each other. They work hand in hand to deliver on the many orders that keep pouring in. Many of those requests are coming from Belizeans in the diaspora.
It has been a life-changing journey for me. People from all cultures, all walks of life have been so receptive. They love it. They want to share it with everybody. I have people who say they share. I do a word of the day, a Creole word of the day every day, and they are like, we share it every day in our family group chat. Some people say they share it with their study group all over. So Couturemen started with just a little calendar here in Belize. People loved it. I sold out as I got them. And now Couturemen's is all over the world. People from all over the world have been asking for my stuff and just really embrace it. But I must say that the biggest support that I've received are from Belizeans abroad who want to connect with their, what I call the heart language, because Creole is the heart language a lot of way.
Preserving the Creole language is Andrea and Dion's humble way of contributing to Belize's economic growth without losing the authenticity and integrity of the Creole culture. Reporting for News 5, I am Isane Cayetano.
Back in September, the Social Security Board announced plans to lend Caribbean Tire Wholesale $7 million for capital expenditure and cash flow replacement. Today, SSB's CEO, Dr. Leroy Almendarez, confirmed that the loan has successfully gone through the full approval process. The loan comes with a 15-year term and an annual interest rate of 6.5%, payable in monthly installments. Almendarez explained that SSB provides loans like these to avoid prematurely increasing the contribution rates we all pay.
The purpose of giving out loans, and it's for loans for development as well, is that that interest income is also added to contributions. But it goes through proper assessment. In essence, if you were to get 7 million, the collateral that we get to secure that for us is greater than the 7 million. And of course, we would have to look, if it says whatever number of years, we do an amortization table, which is telling you over a period of time of the loan until it terminates, how the payments will come in, how much interest income we expect to get, so that we can forecast. Right? We can forecast that money. The other thing we do, of course, is invest. We invest in the utilities company, so we have equity in there, and in some cases, 33+%. And that interest income on a large scale, that money is also added. What does that help us to do? It helps us to not even think about increasing the rate of contribution. It also stops us or helps us not to go to government and say, you know what, we have a shortfall here. Because the other thing we continue to monitor, when you're making these payouts, at what point will payouts be equal to the money that you collect? That's called the point of equilibrium. Then that becomes a challenge, because it simply means after that point, paying these payouts then become a challenge.
Dr. Almendarez shared that the SSB extends its support even to patients who aren't contributors. This assistance comes from a social development account. Almendarez noted that the help provided for this cause amounts to a minute percentage of the SSB surplus.
Whatever surplus remains, 0.15%, that is less than 1%, is actually applied to a social development account. And that is administered, and I can tell you, many, because of the increased prevalence of cancer, non-communicable diseases, a lot of people have been able to be assisted. But what we will not do, for example, is to say, well, we're assisting this person who is sick. I mean, that's not what you do, because not everybody wants that information to be out there. But that's another thing that we do as well. And that just goes through a process. That one is not even tied to whether you're making a contribution. This is because, okay, I have cancer, but I really need assistance with a CT scan. I need to do a surgery. An assessment is made because we don't help you 100%. But that's another thing. In terms of usage of the monies, these are things that we look at very carefully. I mean, really, these are in terms of wasting of funds, etc., just giving away money. No, even when we discuss that, those donations toward people who have cancer. I remember, I think one of the questions is, you're just giving away. No, that's not giving away people's money. There's something called corporate social responsibility.
While the COVID pandemic hit Belize hard starting in March 2020, claims for the virus surged throughout 2021 and 2022. Although COVID is no longer a major threat to the general population, Almendarez mentioned that payments are still being made to COVID patients. He explained that these claims fall under sickness benefits.
The prevalence was more around 2020, 2022, something like that. Because even though we all know that there has been a decline, it has not gone to zero. But what we also have is really a distribution of the number of different diseases that when it comes to the short-term branch and sickness benefit claims, but it's not that we have stopped. Every claim is assessed because at the end of the day, we have a responsibility to make sure that whatever monies are paid out is because they should be paid out.
When we return, opposition leader didn't want questions on Panton.
Corner, we have the masters of limitless power and unbeatable connections, pioneers of 4G LTE in Belize. It's the undefeated champion, Smart. And in the other corner, struggling to keep up, it's the other guy. Fight! Of getting blow after blow from a plan with the other guys, it's time to tap out and join the winning postpaid plan provider. Smart's postpaid plans are a total knockout to the competition, and they have once again powered up their postpaid plans. Sign up for one of Smart's boosted postpaid power plans today and experience the victory of superior service. Smart, bringing people together.
Today we're breaking down two often confused crimes: human smuggling and human trafficking. Let's start with consent. In human smuggling, individuals typically consent to being transported across borders illegally. With human trafficking, victims are coerced or deceived. There's no true consent. Exploitation is key in human trafficking. Victims are forced into labor, sex work, or other exploitative situations. Smuggling, however, usually ends once the destination is reached. Criminally, smuggling primarily violates immigration laws. Trafficking violates human rights laws and often involves multiple crimes against the victim. Movement is essential in smuggling. It's about crossing borders illegally. Trafficking doesn't always involve movement. Victims can be exploited in their own communities. Finally, profit. Smugglers make money from transportation fees. Traffickers profit continuously from exploiting their victims over time. Remember, while these crimes can overlap, understanding their differences is crucial for proper identification and response.
Shop smart for your Samsung devices in Belize and enjoy benefits you won't get anywhere else. When you shop locally for your Samsung, all your devices.
Returning to the UDP's press conference, the spotlight turned to the Shadow Minister of Transport and Civil Aviation, who is also the party's deputy chair, Alberto August. He didn't hold back criticizing Minister of Transport Rodwell Ferguson for the ongoing supply shortages and poor conditions at bus terminals. August confidently declared that the UDP would tackle these issues on their very first day in office if elected.
The ministerial incompetence of the current Minister of Transport and Sports, the Honorable Rodwell Ferguson, is as clear as crystal for not only Belize, but for the world to see. For the very first time in the history of this country, the nation is experiencing a prolonged unavailability of vehicle license plate, vehicle stickers, and driver's license. We will recall the minister informing this nation that this matter would have been addressed by September of last year. When that failed, the Prime Minister himself came on and said that this matter would have been addressed by the end of the year. We're almost finished with the first month of the new year, and the nation is still experiencing this level of incompetence. When we look at the various bus terminals across this country and the dilapidated conditions of these facilities, it's a further indication of the ministerial incompetence of Rodwell Ferguson. The next United Democratic Party government, with the blessings of the people of this country, will immediately address this matter of vehicles license plate, license stickers, and the national availability of driver's license.
Next up was the issue of sporting facilities across the country, a topic tackled by Shane Williams, the UDP candidate for Queen Square. As an athlete himself, Williams didn't mince words, criticizing the government for the poor state of the Belize Mexico Center. His comments were a direct response to a story aired by News 5 on Monday night.
Belizean athletes truly deserve better. It took a foreign sports executive to have the minister sit down in front of the world on national TV and embarrass him for people to notice the deplorable state of sporting facilities in this country. We didn't need a foreigner to tell us it is unacceptable for the Belize Mexico Center to have been abandoned like it has. Hurricane Lisa hit in 2022, November of 2022. And look at how the Mexico Center is in January of 2025. And of all the centers, all the sports centers in this country, that would have been the least one that I thought they would abandon. You remember when COVID, when our athletes couldn't play basketball, couldn't play any of their sports. You know, Mexico Center was locked up like Fort Knox with ministers playing basketball during that time. The favorite ministers locked up in Mexican Center, police security around while they play sports, while the rest of the country was on lockdown. So Mexico Center would be the last facility you would expect this administration to totally abandon. All the government had to do was, in the meantime, fix the roof so that no further damage comes when it rains. Now, any simple rain deteriorated further. All they had to do was maintain. We didn't need a foreigner to tell us that.
After 2 hours of the Barrow-led United Democratic Party discussing national issues, it was finally the media's turn to ask questions. However, when reporters tried to bring up the internal divisions within the UDP, they faced some pushbacks. Barrow quickly shut down those questions, making it clear he wasn't going to entertain them.
First and foremost, in all press conferences, I remember that the United Democratic Party used to have questions were limited. That is number one. Number two, for the last 5 years, you and others in the media have tried to turn, look at, we spent 2 hours talking about national issues from health, education, home affairs, and the economy. And rather than focus on those policies which truly benefit the Belizean people, you want to talk about Tracy, John Saldiva, and the corrupt cabal. Have no interest in that. So if that's what you want to ask, you can ask your question. We're not answering any questions about those people.
But Barrow's resistance to questions about the Alliance for Democracy didn't last long. He took the opportunity to clarify which group truly represents the United Democratic Party. Barrow is now pursuing a contempt ruling from the High Court against Panton. He warned everyone, including the media, that once the ruling is made, anyone pushing the narrative of 2 UDPs will face legal consequences.
And I want to disabuse you of the notion that there are 2 leaderships. Tracy Panton was expelled from the UDP. Patrick Farber expelled from the UDP. These people are the Alliance for Democracy Party. There is only one United Democratic Party. Just like there's one Great Belize, one Channel 5, there's only one. And while we respect the media tremendously, and so we have gone to great lengths not to engage in a legal battle with the media, after next Friday when we're finished with Justice Honora and he gives further orders, anyone that is in violation of the orders and anyone that continues to push this false narrative of 2 UDPs, we will have to pursue legal remedies for that because it is confusion, the electorate, it is causing great damage to our democracy when you keep putting these people off as any UDP officials or this person's UDP or that person's UDP. When Justice Honora returned this UDP headquarters, right, the Henry Young building, he returned it to the central executive of the UDP. He did not say UDP 1 or UDP 2. So I would really want to disabuse you from those false narratives and notions.
Barrow's United Democratic Party is gearing up for the general elections by fielding candidates in all 31 constituencies. Some of these candidates have already been revealed. As we reported last week, Dr. Omar Figueroa is back in the race under Barrow's leadership. Today, Barrow announced that Elodio Aragon Jr. also intends to return. Once confirmed, the full slate of 31 candidates will be unveiled.
We have 31 candidates, but we will be introducing our 31 candidates in the next week or so. To be quite transparent, I've been in discussions with Elodio Aragon, and so we're going to finalize his return or not this week, and then we will introduce our 31 candidates because, as always, the UDP is focused on bringing together ensuring that we have everyone on board and keeping the room for reconciliation with those that wish to return. And so Mr. Elodio Aragon had indicated that he was looking at returning to the UDP. So we will give him a few more days and then we will move forward. We are confident that each constituency, the UDP has viable candidates. Some have a greater chance than others. Let us be fair. It is quite the hurdle in Lake Independence. It is quite difficult in places like Pickstock. It is quite difficult in Orange Walk Central. But we will fight nonetheless. In all of mentioning Orange Walk Central, I am so proud and so grateful to have a candidate like Miss Yara Kal, a lifelong educator, a former council candidate that serves her community. So we are proud of the candidates that we have, and there are other candidates in constituencies such as Cayo Central, for instance. Balona going home, Misha Shebat going home, Melin Espat going home. A lot of them are going home, but they are banking on the distractions and the diversions that the people will not pay attention to the failed policies, but we feel very different, and our people are on the ground and they know what they have to do and they are doing it.
Mr. Pereira left the KHMH embroiled in controversy. Ms. Paredes, who you now have in Collet, she's on social media supporting the People's United Party in October 2020, right before the general election. She posted a Facebook post supporting the People's United Party. She was also a member of Johnson Beaver's camp as well.
So what's wrong with that? Tracy Pantan was a member of the PUP. I could send you the video where she declares that she worked for the Mark Espat camp. So no, people can't go from PUP to UDP.
And finally, at today's UDP press conference, we asked Barrow about Lee-Mark Chang's candidacy in his constituency and whether he sees Chang as a threat. Barrow brushed off the question, saying he couldn't be bothered and that Chang is of no concern to him.
The Alliance has placed a candidate in your constituency. What do you make of this and the fact that Mr. Lee-Mark Chang took to social media to say that, or to suggest that you reached out to offer some sort of olive branch requesting mediation, suggesting that he is a threat now to you and to your leadership in that constituency?
That's an lie. Yeah, I'm not concerned about Mr. Chang. We'll send him back to his multi-million-dollar mansion on Seashore Drive, to which he has had refuge and has never been in the Mesopotamia constituency, has never done anything for the Mesopotamia people. No concern about Mr. Chang.
But when you look at his launch, the turnout seemed to be significant.
50 people that didn't get their $30, I ended up giving them assistance because they're my people, and you know, they just went to see the puppy show, so no concern.
Up next, 29 micro and small entrepreneurs received seed funding from BEEP.
From as early as the 1990s, beach erosion has been wreaking havoc in the quaint Creole village of Monkey River.
This cement post marks the boundary of David Linares' property, or what's left of it.
As we've been documenting the changes over the years, white sandy beaches where tourists and residents alike would gather have been washed away. Acres of land that were once populated with homes are now underwater. The village keeps getting smaller, and the once vibrant community is disappearing. Repeating natural disasters over the last 2 decades, including Hurricanes Mitch and Iris, as well as an earthquake, have ravaged the community. Climate change has exacerbated the situation.
The sea level is rising, and it rises based on what we've been able to ascertain, around 3 to 4 millimeters per year. And while that sounds very tiny, the rule of thumb is that the relationship between sea level rise and flooding is 1 to 100. So if there's a 1 inch rise in sea level, it floods 100 inches of beach. Because the sea level is rising and the amount of sand getting to the coast is not able to replenish the sand that is being eroded by the wave action, then more and more the erosion increases and it speeds up.
Apart from, we are looking at climate change and sea level rise and all of that, we still believe one of the biggest problems that we're seeing with the erosion here comes from the activities that's happening on the watershed.
Upper river activities, which include sand mining, agricultural farming, and deforestation, have, as News 5 has documented for decades, been identified as the main cause of the erosion happening in Monkey River. Research from as early as 1998 reflect this.
The supply of sediment is being reduced because the water does not have the force to wash down the sediment to the beach. The force of the water is being reduced because of obstruction for irrigation, water-to-water banana farms, citrus farms, mango farms, and water is being obstructed for aquaculture, and also water is being transferred from one watershed to another. This is all creating a cumulative effect on the river and therefore on the beach.
About a decade later, in 2007, Galen University was commissioned by the Protected Areas Conservation Trust to carry out an assessment of the watershed in Monkey River. Dr. Colin Young was among the experts who undertook the comprehensive task. The findings were shocking.
Where we estimated, I believe, if my memory serves me right, that there's over 2,000 feet of land that has been lost. We calculated that millions of gallons were being removed out of the river, going on to the farms, and then the water was being returned to a creek called Black Creek. So that water never returned back into the main channel of the river. There are all of these areas that had these huge pipes that were extracting the water. The second reason along the river was that a large amount of the river sand used in the construction industry was being mined from the river. What mining does, it does two things. It widens the river channel because as you pull the material, the channel of the river is getting wider and wider. And it's also getting deeper and deeper.
This has prevented beach building material from getting to the village, and Dr. Young fears that a tropical storm would be perilous. Almost 25 years later, the problem remains unaddressed because, as we found out, the recommended intervention would cost tens of millions of dollars.
Flush the river of the sand by barging it, taking a barge up the river and taking out all the sand, and then use that to rebuild the beach, and then to plant vegetation that would be able to hold the sediments in place. And then at the same time, develop some hard structures off the coast of the village to help with to reduce the force from the wave action.
Since the 1990s, and with little to no resources, residents have been putting their faith in sandbags and makeshift seawalls, but to no avail.
In August 2024, the Office of the Prime Minister kicked off the Belize Enterprise Empowerment Project, BEEP, a branch of the Belize Trade and Investment Development Service, Beltrade. The first group of recipients celebrated under the theme Celebrating Belizean Entrepreneurship is now receiving seed capital. BEEP aims to support micro, small and medium enterprises, MSMEs. Almost 250 applicants were submitted, but only a select few qualified for funding. News 5's Marian Ali was on the scene and filed this report.
Today, the top applicants who pitch their business ideas for funding receive the money they need to start or expand their ventures. These applications were part of the Belize Enterprise for Empowerment Project, BEEP, an initiative under the Belize Trade and Investment Development Service. The funding, provided by the Caribbean Development Fund through the Office of the Prime Minister, aims to support local entrepreneurs. Executive Director of Beltrade, Ishmael Quiros, explained that the program not only provides funding but also offers technical know-how to the beneficiaries. The recipients had to deliver compelling sales pitches, and the best among them were selected for this opportunity.
The range of ideas and the creativity, the new ways of doing things has been inspirational. And we're very excited to speak with you today about just a few of the great ideas that we've seen so far. We've had 279 startup applications and 45 export sector applications. Over the past months, we've witnessed the dedication of our participants firsthand, who have engaged in our training sessions to hone their skills in financial management, digital marketing, sales, and crafting compelling investment plans. The selection process was, as I mentioned, rigorous, with only those who demonstrated commitment to learning and growth by attending at least 80% of the training sessions, moving on to the pitching phase. So it was still not yet done. You had to pitch, you had to prepare, you had to convince, and that is what you did as awardees.
Danelli Pot shared how BEEP turned her business idea into a reality. Today, she is the proud owner of Hello Roses.
Participating in the BEEP has been a transformative experience for us at Hello Roses. This program provided us with not only crucial financial assistance, but also invaluable knowledge and guidance. The workshop and mentorship have equipped us with the skills and confidence to navigate the complexities of entrepreneurship, particularly in the areas of bookkeeping, planning, cash management, and understanding our business. We learned the importance of meticulously tracking every sale and expense, something that was previously a daunting task. Now, we have a clear understanding of our financial health and can make informed decisions about investments in new inventory, marketing campaigns, and expanding our services and products.
Gabriel Casey is now able to expand his Pixel Pro Media business through the assistance provided.
Pixel Pro Media began as a vision to provide digital solutions to businesses in Belize and beyond. Over the years, we've worked on projects that include SaaS platforms, and SaaS platforms are simply software as a service. We have over 25,000 active members on our platforms, and web and mobile app development, branding, and training programs. However, when I learned about BEEP, I realized it could be the key to propelling our growth to new heights. Through BEEP, I gained much more than just financial support. The program offered critical training sessions that was very important, that helped me refine my business model, solidify my goals, and tackle challenges with confidence. For example, the development of our LMS, our learning management system, integrated with gamification and AR and VR modules, and certification became our most ambitious projects.
Nancy Marin received assistance for her ostrich farm in the Cayo district.
We had to send in a full business proposal, attend, I think it was 3 or 4 different training sessions, and then do a pitch in front of a panel from Beltrade, I think Ministry of Finance, DFC.
Okay, maybe you could share with us what the money will be used for.
The money will be used for an incubation center for us to be able to produce more ostriches. For us to be able to produce more ostriches, that way we can get more oil from the ostriches and produce more cosmetics. We have interest to export in Ireland and in Seattle. So there's a big push now that it's a laying season for ostriches. There's a big push to be able to produce more oils.
Narda Garcia, CEO in the PM's office, commended the awardees for their resilience and determination to succeed. She emphasized that investing in their businesses is truly an investment in the future.
Each of our awardees has demonstrated exceptional dedication, creativity, and perseverance in their respective fields. They have faced challenges head-on, and through their hard work and determination, they have not only uplifted themselves, but also inspired those around them. The Belize Enterprise Empowerment Project is more than just a funding initiative. As I said before, it is a catalyst for transformation. It embodies our collective belief that when we invest in individuals, we invest in the future of our communities. By providing resources along with training and support, we are enabling our entrepreneurs to turn their visions into reality, create jobs, and contribute to the economic vitality of Belize.
Many of the awarded businesses are led by women, a fact that both Quiroz and Garcia celebrated as remarkable. The funding amounts range from $5,000 to $20,000, and the progress of these recipients and their businesses will be closely monitored for success. Reporting for News 5, I'm Marion Ali.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available at channel5belize.com, on our Facebook, and on YouTube. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us, and from all of us here at News 5, good night.